Have you ever heard of a song called Love Hurts? Have you heard of a song called Love Stinks? Sometimes you're drawn to someone who's not your ideal match. Sometimes, your head draws you one direction and your heart pulls you in another. I think that these two characters are both pulled by those two forces, and then in turn the two characters are pulled toward one another, even when maybe they're not best for one another at all times.
Are you talking about me and Laura or me and Lila? No, this is an interesting question because I think a lot of times people end up settling for somebody who's safe, somebody who is not going to demand as much of them, and I think that that's what my character does in this movie, or is about to do in this movie. Yet he knows that the one who's going to bring out the best in him is Laura's character, Katie's character. And it's just growing up and coming to terms with that, I think, is where his biggest sort of indecision comes from, is whether or not he should go with the girl who's going to make him better or the girl who's going to make things easier.
The love triangle of this film is really one of the things that I found really wonderful about the movie, and these conflicts are something that I think many people go through, and it makes it makes for a good film.
I wanted to ask Elijah Wood if you felt your character was like an alcoholic and a hopeless romantic, and also where have you been, Elijah? We haven't seen you for a while.
Dude, I'm right here. I don't know if Chip's an alcoholic just yet. I think he's on the road. He's practicing. I think he's just acting out. I think he grew up in the context of a very well-to-do, affluent family, and is sort of against the nature of his upbringing. And I think he's trying to find his way through a variety of means. Alcohol and pills might just be facilitating his motions. But it's a lot of fun. He likes to have a good time.
When I first read the script, I was like, I don't like any of these characters.
You should be honest, Josh.
I really didn't. I mean, because when you really look at these guys, except for Chip, I just felt like it was, it was just a bunch of selfish people who were making much bigger deals of their problems than they really were. But then I read it again, and I liked it much better because I felt like it's really kind of a reflection on, what people are anyway, and what friends are like, and what groups of friends and family are like, because we're all dysfunctional. We're all messed up in some way, and we're all flawed, and I think that...
I'm not.
Believe me. And I think that that's what drew me to it ultimately. It was, the imperfection of all these people, and these people that were just trying to make it work. I've got a group of friends that I've had for a long time, and we're equally as dysfunctional. We're not making out with each other's wives, but, I think everybody can sort of relate to the imperfections of these characters in some way, and I think that that's ultimately why I thought it was something that I wanted to do.
I think when you're younger, appearance is sort of the first and foremost. As a teenager, you see the hot guy or the cool guy in school, and you kind of fantasize about what it would be like to date him. And I think, yes, you. But I think over time, as you shift and grow as a person, so does your view on and you learn what real love is and what infatuation is, and the difference between the two. And it's so funny because I look at the men that I find attractive now and what I did as a teenager. I would have cringed at those men when I was younger, but it's I think it's a fascination, and I think you see people for who they are when you grow up, and when you are looking for a mate for life, you you need more than just the exterior, obviously. You need someone who challenges you and wants to grow and grow together in life is my point of view of who you need to be with.
What's that? I just look for a really nice ass. I'm kidding.
You got one. You got the best guy.
I'm just playing. Come on. No, I mean, I think that Malin sort of was right on. I mean, you grow up and you realize that it isn't just about the aesthetic. It's about whether or not that person makes you better, whether or not that person makes you happy. And, you're lucky if you can find it.
When you have real friends, you can be all of those things, and people love you for it. And I think that's what feels good about watching this movie, and what felt good being in this movie and portraying these people. It's you can portray people who are real and have their ups and downs, and they have this family around them that has been through it all. And if you're lucky to have people like that in your life, it's wonderful. And so this film also celebrates friendship.
It's such a huge ensemble. There are so many characters to display within the context of a short piece. A majority of the movie takes place over the course of an evening. But these characters are so complex in the way that they were written by Galt that it gave all of us so much to work with as well. So.
One of the virtues of this movie that we also don't see a lot of is that it is a real ensemble piece, and the experience of making it was an ensemble piece. So it was really like, it's like what you have in a rehearsal room, and we were all sort of rehearsing together. And Galt, we rehearsed before we started shooting, and it's really the same. It's the essence is the same.
She becomes the next Lovelace, actually. No, I don't know. I don't know what would happen to her. I think she goes on with her. She puts her mask right back on and becomes the fun tripler that she is. I think she has her demons and she keeps them inside. I think that happens a lot in dynamics with friends. I mean, if you're the sort of the one who brings the fun to the group, I don't think you ever let your guard down. It's a very rare moment. I think that's what was a beautiful moment between us, is that it was sort of the confessional. She got to confess, and it's sort of like say your Hail Marys and then be off and go live your life again. I think that's sort of how she lives her life. So I personally don't think she, maybe Galt is looking at me and going, that's not true at all. But I don't think she changes much from this. I think she just keeps going in her tripler ways.